जय गुरु जी महाराज, जय गुरु जी साथ संगत जी। शुक्राना गुरु जी महाराज दा मल्टीलिंगुअल सेवादार टीम आप सबका स्वागत करती है। आज एक बार फिर हम सब बहुत धन्य हो गए हैं। डिवाइन ग्रंथ लाइट और डिविनिटी से हम सब एक सत्संग सुनेंगे। जनरल सी के कपूर अंकल, ब्लेस संगत, इनका सत्संग लाइट और डिविनिटी ग्रंथ में है। आज इनकी सुपुत्री आरती कपूर आंटी जी इनका सत्संग पढ़ेंगी। गुरु परिवार की तरफ से आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत है आरती आंटी। प्लीज सेशन को इनिशिएट करें। जय गुरु जी, ओवर टू यू आरती कपूर आंटी।
गुरुजी को नमस्ते, सारी संगत को प्यार भरा जय गुरुजी। मल्टीलिंगुअल प्लेटफॉर्म का बहुत बहुत शुक्राना इस सेवा के लिए। और ये गुरुजी के ही अल्फाज हैं कि सत्संग सुनने वाले का और सत्संग शेयर करने वाले का दोनों का कल्याण, मेरी ब्लेसिंग्स दोनों तरफ चलती हैं। So I'm sure you all understand the background of this book, The Light of Divinity. ये एक ऐसी किताब है और एक ओनली किताब है, ग्रंथ आई वांट टू से, महाग्रंथ, जो लिटरली गुरुजी के कमांड और डायरेक्शन पे लिखी गई। गुरुजी had handpicked a few Sangat members to actually document their own satsangs and hand it over to him. तो गुरुजी ने रैंडम संगत को बोला कि तुसी अपने सत्संग लिख के ले आओ। और जब पापा ने अपना सत्संग एक फोल्डर में अच्छे से गुरुजी को पकड़ाया, तो गुरुजी ने उनको बोला कि वो जीतू अंकल को वो सत्संग पकड़ा दें। एंड द एडिट्स ऑफ दिस बुक वर डन बाय किरण टंडन आंटी, एंड आई थिंक करंटली ये 5th वर्जन पे है। इनफैक्ट जो इस बुक का इनिशियल कवर, ओरिजिनल कवर था, वाज डिफरेंट फ्रॉम दिस कवर. So anyway, and then I think the question that has also come up in the past कि इस किताब का नाम The Light of Divinity क्यों रखा गया? And I don't have a concrete answer for that, but my understanding is that because Guruji had often said कि मैं तो लाइट हूँ, मैं लाइट में आया हूँ और लाइट से आया हूँ और लाइट में ही चला जाऊंगा. That's why I think the name The Light of Divinity, which is the most appropriate. So yes, इसमें मेरे पिताजी का सत्संग है और there's a funny story related to this satsang as well. When he said कि जनरल साहब आप अपना सत्संग लिखकर लाओ, he also said कि अच्छा आपके ऑफिस में एक फलाना फलाना बंदा है अजय माथुर, आप उसको डिक्टेट कर देना, वो अपने आप बहुत अच्छे तरीके से इसको मॉडिफाई करके लिख कर ले आएगा, क्योंकि अजय तो इंग्लिश ने वट कर देता है. So basically, I think that AI feature that we use now, where we put the content in and we put it through AI and the AI finishes it, that's the job that Ajay Mathur uncle had done for this satsang. And Guruji's exact words were कि Ajay Mathur te अंग्रेजी दे वट कर देता है. So with Guruji's permission, I will start reading the satsang as it is documented in the Light of Divinity. The title of the satsang is A Soldier Salutes Guruji. It is on page 225. So, as a soldier who served the Indian Army for over 3.5 decades, I have always been an ardent follower of the professional doctrine that a true soldier lives by chance, loves by choice, and kills by profession. So, tat iska ye ke Fauji and like most other human beings are karam yogis, right? However, it was in the evening of my life that I got an opportunity to realize that there is a world of divinity much beyond the line of control, LOC, of human intelligence and knowledge. Yes, Fauji's are very bound by LOC. A cruise to the as yet uncharted regions of spirituality was a distant dream for me. But the later part of March 1999 changed the course of my destiny. The lotus feet of Sri Guruji Maharaj opened the portals of a divine kingdom for me, not far away from where I live, without making me perform my tormenting tapasya at the foothills of the remote Himalayas. Guruji used to say कि कलयुग में भगवान को पाना बहुत आसान है। और क्यों गुरुजी ये कहते थे? क्योंकि आप ये देखिए कि हम में से किसको कैलाश पर्वत पे या हिमालय पर्वत पे मन के फेरने पड़े महाशिव को पाने के लिए। सो यस, we definitely do believe that हमारी किस्मत का सितारा चमक उठा जब गुरु साहिब ने हमें अपनी शरण में लिया। I had heard about Guruji much earlier through my close friend, Lieutenant General retired Ravi Inder Singh Kalo. The book says RIS, but I know his name, so I've spelt it out. A close disciple whose wife was cured of severe knee arthritis thanks to Guruji. Amazingly enough, I got the honor of seeking the blessings from the primordial power, His Holiness Sri Guruji Maharaj, much later, after a gap of 4 to 5 years as an army officer, took me to Guruji's temple towards the end of March 99. Since then, there has been no looking back. My life has been transformed in more than one way, as my family has flourished under Guruji's vibrant and vivacious divinity ever since I first had an audience with him. So yes, we had heard about Guruji through Ravi Uncle, I want to say in 1993, 94. And 4-5 साल निकल गए. उस टाइम गुरुजी जलंधर में थे. Then he came to Greater Kailash. Greater Kailash से जब Empire State में वो आए, तब हमारा गुरुजी से मिलना हुआ. And गुरुजी के पास मेरे पिताजी को ले जाने वाले जनरल मोहन सिंह थे, जिनको गुरुजी मामा जी के नाम से बुलाते थे. I strongly believe that Guruji is an incarnation of Lord Shiva and is endowed with a treasure trove of super healing powers that only Providence can bestow on any mortal soul, especially in this Kali Yuga. Let us be extremely clear that Guruji has not only got the matchless ability and the indomitable power to heal some of the most grave, incurable diseases and handicaps on the planet, but like Lord Shiva, he is the gifted Vedeshwar, which is the god of healing. You name the disease, and he will cure you in his own inimitable style. The healing begins to work automatically as soon as you surrender yourself to his lotus feet in Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan, Delhi, and all across India and abroad. Millions of his devotees can testify to his blessings. Now, this is true. And Guruji used to say that Guruan da level honda hai. And only a Mahapurush and a Guru, of the highest standing has the ability to take our ailments, your ailments, my ailments upon himself. वो हर कोई गुरु नहीं वो ले सकता, और वो ability सिर्फ महाशिव के पास होती है. And God knows कितनी millions of years तपस्या करने के बाद this trait of taking somebody else's ailment. And the second differentiator was जिनकी body के हर part से fragrance, right from eyeballs to all the energy chakras. Once your body starts to ooze fragrance, that's a sign of a Mahapurush as well. After my retirement on several occasions, I have been blessed just by his miraculous touch, even when I came face to face with ultimate truth, death. तो इस चैप्टर में काफी छोटे छोटे स्निपेट्स हैं, डिफरेंट जिसे कहते हैं हाइलाइट्स. इसमें सारे सत्संग तो नहीं है, बट आई विल रीड जो भी इसमें डॉक्यूमेंटेड है. My wife Sushila, a diabetic, was blessed by Guruji. Her sugar levels magically came down to 107 after she had a handful of laddus and mithai, which Guruji gave her in form of prasad on the first day she had Guruji's darshan. Her fasting sugar level used to be above the 200 mark, and I could not believe my eyes when tests registered the change in her adamantly high diabetic readings. It was an eloquent testimonial to the divine blessings of Guruji. Yes, this is true. This is the first experience that my family had where my dad, being a retired army general, saw science and logic completely fail. And he could not put two and two together. Ki ye hua to kaise hua? How do you explain a phenomenon like this? That you go to this place for the first time, there's a Mahapurush who gives you मसल के इतना मीठा प्रसाद जो गुरुजी एक हाथ से देते थे वो दोनों हाथों में नहीं समाता था. And in fact, my mother was skeptical कि मैं इतना मीठा कैसे consume कर लूं और मेरी sugar का क्या हाल होगा. And that night itself, when the sugar was retaken, the numbers were magical. And my parents just कहते ना हक्का बक्का रह जाना, because it's one thing to hear about these experiences, it's another to truly experience it yourself. In September 2002, I suffered acute chest pain and was advised a coronary bypass. I straight away went to Guruji from Research and Referral Hospital at Delhi to seek his blessings. He told me that though I did not require any stenting, nevertheless, in the longer run, it would be advisable to get myself operated on at Escorts Hospital. He asked me to bring a copper tumbler and blessed it with his hands. He asked my wife and me to drink water from it every morning on an empty stomach. As we have been doing so ever since, my heart ailment, which seemed a difficult issue, ceased to worry me. So yes, Dad was given a lota, and we as a family were also given a blessed copper jug, not a lota, a jug blessed by Guruji. Another very beautiful satsang is about how Guruji saved his sangat from the tsunami. And this is very heartwarming because कैसे गुरुजी ने बिन बोले पता नहीं कितने लोगों की जान बख्श दी on the pretext of attending his satsang. So let me read this without any further ado. I am reminded of yet another unforgettable experience. In the winter of 2004, Guruji expressed his desire to bless retired defense personnel before going to Jalandhar. I told Guruji that there are only a few retired defense personnel living in the National Capital Region. Would Guruji like to include serving defense personnel, the human assets of the nation too? Magnanimous as ever, Guruji nodded and told me that he will inform me about the date and the venue of the program later. After some time, I broached the subject again, and he told me to visit a place near Chhatapur Mandir along with Mr. Prem Singh, our former ambassador to Singapore. I went to a sprawling farmhouse which belonged to Mr. Clare, yet another close disciple of Guruji at 11 p.m. It was a befitting venue, and Prem Singh and I came back to Guruji and endorsed the farmhouse as being tailor made for the event. This is true. Guruji had sent Prem Singh uncle and dad at a random odd hour. I think it was, as mentioned, 11 or maybe even later. And imagine the power of Guru Parivar और कितने आप प्यार और इज्जत और अदब से गुरु परिवार का स्वागत करते हो कि आप किसी के घर के बाहर किसी फार्म हाउस किसी के फार्म हाउस के बाहर आप पहुंच रहे हो रात के 11 बजे और यू नो जैसे मेरे फादर ने बताया था कि किस वार्मथ से उस परिवार ने प्रेम सिंह अंकल और पापा का स्वागत किया एंड दे टुक देम अराउंड एंड देन दे केम एंड रिपोर्टेड बैक टू गुरुजी गिविंग इट ए ओके के सत्संग के लिए बिल्कुल बढ़िया जगह है एंड सबको पता है कि क्लेयर फार्म में जो सत्संग हुआ था रेस्ट इज हिस्ट्री. Guruji told me in no uncertain terms to focus only upon consolidating the strength of serving and retired defense brass, and the date was fixed for a Sunday morning, 26 December 2004. Many devotees had, however, already made plans to visit overseas holiday destinations like Thailand, Bangkok, Kuala Lumpur, the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, and the exotic beaches of Goa. So a large number of devotees asked Guruji to exempt them from attending this program. But Guruji insisted and urged them to participate in that function without any excuse. Since the words of Guruji are sacrosanct for every disciple, the trips were cancelled or postponed. The program was attended by a wide cross section of people including retired and serving defense personnel. So let me elaborate this on a little bit more. So जब गुरुजी ने 26 दिसंबर की डेट दी तो लॉजिकल माइंड ये कहता है कि अरे दैट्स राइट बिटवीन क्रिसमस एंड न्यू ईयर्स ईव, ये तो लोगों का छुट्टी का टाइम होता है, घूमने फिरने का टाइम होता है, तो जो संगत की अटेंडेंस है ना वो थोड़ी कम हो जाएगी. सो जब गुरुजी ने ये डेट दी तो माय डैड आल्सो सेड कि गुरुजी या तो क्रिसमस से पहले करते हैं या फिर नए साल के बाद करेंगे. So Guruji looks at my dad and he said, General Saab, गुरुआ नाल बहस नहीं करी दी. So basically saying कि मैंने आपको 26 दिसंबर की जो डेट दी है ना, सत्संग तो उसी दिन होगा. एंड इफ और बट और किंतु और परंतु की कोई जरूरत नहीं है, ना ये लॉजिक लगाने की जरूरत है कि कौन आएगा कौन नहीं आएगा, बिकॉज गुरुजी न्यू कि उस दिन क्या होने वाला है. लेकिन गुरुजी ने किसी को ये जताया नहीं. और उस दिन सत्संग में नॉट जस्ट रिटायर्ड डिफेंस पर्सनल, सर्विंग डिफेंस पर्सनल, पर उनके कुछ रिश्तेदार भी were able, who were civilians, were able to attend this satsang. So, through his hukum and through his obedience, Guruji had saved everybody because it was on 26 December 2004 that the tsunami wreaked havoc on all coastal areas, most of them where the devotees had planned to celebrate the new year. All those disciples who attended the function were given a new lease of life by Guruji. Guruji had his own way of blessing and saving his followers from the untoward natural calamities. Guruji is himself the most impenetrable armor for his disciples, safeguarding them against catastrophes. He has the power and compassion to be the ultimate savior, the messiah of the spiritual bliss and happiness that none other than a benevolent God can himself be. How beautiful is this? कि पता नहीं कितने लोगों की गुरुजी ने उस दिन जान बख्शी, कैसे? सत्संग करवाने के जरिए से. 3 Guru mantras, the epitome of faith. One satsang day, around 2 o'clock at night, when I was just about to leave for home, after taking permission from Guruji in the presence of a handful of his closest disciples, Guruji asked me what I knew about God and religion. When I failed to measure up to the discerning expectations, Guruji laughed heartily and then said, General Saab, don't worry at all if you do not know anything about religion. Though Guruji rarely preaches, nevertheless, he then eloquently narrated spiritual verses from the Holy Quran, Bible, Bhagavad Gita, and from the Guru Granth Sahib with great chastity and profound authenticity. The verses flowed from his lips like the transparent, clear, and a pure holy river Ganges comes out of her fountainhead, Lord Shiva himself. We were all awestruck and stood in utter humility and silence. After a brief spell, Guruji asked us what we understood from all that he had just shared from his rich reservoir of spiritual knowledge. When we could only shrug our shoulders in utter helplessness, he laughed, but slowly and empathetically elucidated 3 divine golden Guru mantras that have become the epitome of faith and guideposts in our efforts to lead a blissful spiritual life. The core essence of his preaching was threefold and is the tallest testament of spirituality. He said, now, before I verbatim read this, I do want to elaborate a little bit more. So, as it's described in the satsang, रात के 2-2:30 बजे थे एंड उस दिन गुरुजी को पापा घुट रहे थे. सो जब घुट रहे थे तो Casual conversation शुरू हो गई जहां गुरुजी broached this subject about religion and he looked at my father and he said, जनरल साहब आपको religion के बारे में क्या पता है? पंजाबी में उन्होंने पूछा. So my dad very casually he mentioned that गुरुजी मैं तो फौजी हूँ और फौज में ऐसे रिलीजन का कुछ लंबा चौड़ा कुछ होता नहीं है क्योंकि मेरा जो सीईओ है वो सरदार है, जो मेरा एडीसी है वो मुसलमान है, जो मेरा एलओ है वो क्रिश्चियन है और हम सब एक मेज पे बैठकर खाना खाते हैं. And Guruji laughed. He said, खाना तो खाते हो, लेकिन religion के बारे में क्या पता है? So he probed my dad a little bit more. And then my dad mentioned some book जो उन्होंने अपने major days में पढ़ी थी as a major, which was like many, many decades ago. And he said, मैंने फलानी फलानी कोई किताब पढ़ी थी, लेकिन गुरुजी कुछ लंबा चौड़ा याद नहीं. And then he said कि कोई बात नहीं, अगर आपको religion के बारे में ज्यादा कुछ नहीं पता. उस टाइम गुरुजी नीचे बैठे थे. वो नीचे से उठकर अपनी गद्दी पे वापस चले गए and then he started narrating these verses from all the holy books and he went into a state of trance जहां वो interpretation नहीं, verbatim उन holy books से, भगवत गीता से, कुरान से, बाइबल से, गुरु ग्रंथ साहिब से उन्होंने कुछ verses verbatim recite किए. और जब गुरुजी को इस ट्रांस की स्टेट में देखा और जितने भी हैंडफुल ऑफ डिवोटीज साथ में थे वो सारे हक्के बक्के रह गए और सबकी नींद खुल गई. उसके बाद जब गुरुजी ने वो रेसिटेशन खत्म करी तो गुरुजी ने पूछा मेरे फादर से कि कुछ समझ आया. एंड एवरीबडी वाज dumbfounded. सो उसका जो एसेंस जो गुरुजी ने जो उस रात को रिसाइट किया उसका तत्व मैं अब आपके साथ शेयर करने जा रही हूँ. इंग्लिश में है. पहली चीज जो गुरुजी ने बोला, ऑल रिलीजन्स आर वन, all gods are the same, all religions preach only one language of love and compassion and service to mankind. That's very deep, very relevant, and something that none of us should forget. एक ओमकार. हम रोज ये बोलते हैं ना मूल मंत्र, लेकिन इस पे हम अमल करते हैं और इसकी डेप्थ को समझने की कोशिश करते हैं. Respect all religions. And that's why people from different walks of life used to come to Guruji. और गुरुजी एक साथ एक थाली थाली 4 लोगों के बीच में शेयर होती थी. क्यों? बिकॉज भगवान एक, भगवान के सामने उनकी सारी संगत एक समान. दूसरी चीज, help anyone and everyone irrespective of caste, color, creed, faith or religion anytime and every time. And if you cannot help anyone due to any reason whatsoever, then at least do not cause any harm or damage to anyone. मदद करो जिस किसी की भी कर सकते हो. मदद नहीं कर सकते तो make sure you don't go out of your way to at least harm somebody. Disengage yourselves from the outward pleasures, dreams, and desires of the cosmetically alluring materialistic world. जो तीसरी चीज है, बहुत जरूरी है. Take out time from your hectic schedules to contemplate and meditate by sitting in samadhi every day in quest of spiritual elevation and perfection in life. जो गुरुजी कहते थे ना, practice detached attachment. This is what this is referring to. Guruji never said that it's wrong to have desires. Guruji never said that don't possess good cars, don't enjoy a good home, don't enjoy good clothes. Don't get attached to it. Don't be driven by this. Don't go stir crazy if you lose your house or you lose your car. Don't let that drive you. You drive the car doesn't drive you. So practicing detached attachment in this Kali Yuga is very, very important. भोगो सब कुछ, consume सब कुछ करो, लेकिन don't let that drive you insane because you're in the quest of acquiring more. There is a difference between, um, wanting certain things and being literally greedy. Greed tab aati hai jab you feel like you want something and you truly know you don't even deserve it, but because the other person has it, I also want it. That's unnecessary. That's being greedy. So we need to disengage ourselves on a daily basis from such things, just to get in the vices of the Kali Yuga, right? To sum up, he finally advocated redirect and reinvest some of your attention, energy, and time upon cementing your eternal bond with divinity and spirituality. That night, I received the biggest lesson of my life, and it further consolidated my belief that service to mankind is service to God. Attitude of gratitude. This is the Kali Yuga Sangaji. There's a lot of pain within us, there's pain around us, there's pain that we see, there's pain that we don't see, there's a pain that we know of, there's a pain that we don't know of. And many a times we might be in situations where we don't even understand why this person XYZ is going through whatever that person is going through. Remember, regardless, try to have an attitude of gratitude, a heart full, which is full of faith, is bound to attract the blessings of this universe sooner or later. And there are no two ways about it. The next satsang is General Kapoor, New Life, Go. In 2005, while I was taking a morning walk with my wife near my house in DLF City, Gurgaon, a mad bull smashed its horns into my chest. I was unconscious for a couple of hours. When I opened my eyes, I was in ICU in the research and referral hospital with my wife and a few relatives at my bedside. I felt my end was just around the corner. My wife and daughter rushed to Guruji in the evening. After listening to the episode, he paused for a few seconds and then gave my wife prasad, which I ate the next day in ICU. My wife then gave me a photograph of Guruji and placed it under my pillow. Even though I was delirious, whenever I gained consciousness, I used to think only of Guruji. Sure enough, by the grace of Guruji, I was discharged and advised bed rest for a fortnight. But I went straight to Guruji the evening I got discharged. He blessed me and said, General Kapoor, new life, go. On the way home, I told my wife that by the grace of Guruji, nothing would happen to me. So, yes, they were on a morning walk and this incident happened. I was in the US, but my older sister was in Noida back then. So, obviously, my mother called my sister Pooja. Both of them went running to Guruji because every Sangat member can relate to this feeling that हमारे पास तो एक रामबाण है और you know मुल्ले की दौड़ मस्जिद तक. So they went to Guruji. Guruji ने प्रसाद दिया. Back then छोटे स्वरूप मिलते थे गुरुजी के. So that picture was placed under dad's pillow. And sure enough, जब गुरुजी को जब मेरे पिताजी को अस्पताल से छुट्टी मिली, वो सीधे गुरुजी के पास गए और गुरुजी ने उनको देखते ही बोला, जनरल कपूर चलो न्यू लाइफ ब्लेस की. So, narrating this event reminds me of a conversation that took place between Guruji and me on the first day I had his darshan in March 99. Within just a few minutes, he beckoned me to his side and with his side finger, Guruji ऐसे इशारा करके बुलाते थे, and asked since when I had known of him. I said that it was as early as 95. He gave me a naughty smile and asked me why I had not visited him then. I was tongue-tied. I could not muster enough courage to reply. Guruji looked at me with a scintillating glow in his eyes. I sheepishly replied that I thought it was due to my destiny. Guruji then said that had I come earlier, I would have reaped more benefits, but the time was not just to reap for me at that point in life. The lesson I learned was that one can seek Guruji's blessings only when the time has come, which is governed by the karma of a previous and present birth. But a visit to him opens the door for us to enter the kingdom of divinity. Yes, this is true. पहले दिन ही गुरुजी ने मेरे पिताजी से पूछा कि जनरल साहब ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਮੇਰੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਚ पता सी एंड गुरुजी ने उनको बताया कि हाँ जी गुरुजी मैंने फलाने 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 से आपके बारे में सुना एंड देन गुरुजी in a very innocent manner says जनरल साहब अगर ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਮੇਰੇ बारे ਚ पता सी ਤੁਸੀਂ आए क्यों नहीं so my dad was at a loss of words कि अब वो क्या बोले बट गुरुजी ने उनको बोला that गुरुजी said कि जनरल साहब ਤੁਸੀਂ इसलिए नहीं आए क्योंकि ਤੁਹਾਡਾ वक्त नहीं आया सी और गलती से भी पंजाबी में उन्होंने बोला गलती से भी अगर आप पहले आ जाते तो बहुत फायदा उठा लेते and my dad had a very keen sense of humor so papa said कि कोई बात नहीं गुरुजी अब आ गए हैं अब पूरा पूरा फायदा उठा लेंगे and true right guruji does decide the when the what, the how, through who. Everything is predestined and decided by Guruji, but I do feel like once he does beckon you and he invites you, it is also our responsibility to open our internal lotus so that it becomes prime to receive and soak, and more importantly, to be able to retain those blessings that our Guru is showering on us, right? In December 2005, after attending the Sangat one day, I felt seriously ill and was rushed to the research and referral hospital with severe pneumonia. I had a shooting headache and my entire body was in acute pain. The fever had gone up to 104 degrees Fahrenheit and was reluctant to come down despite intense medication. Even though the deputy commandant at the research and referral hospital was a close friend of mine, I was getting the best of the VIP treatment at ICU, yet the pneumonia was proving to be an indomitable enemy. Yet again, I sought the blessings of Guruji, who for me provides the safest escape route from grave misery and pain. I clearly remembered that while I was recovering from pneumonia at Research and Referral Hospital, the retired and serving defense personnel and a few well known disciples had, acting on Guruji's advice, organized a public program to facilitate Guruji on a Sunday morning in December 2005 at Gurgaon. Now, this was the initiation of the annual Gurgaon Satsang that happens even till date. 2005 में दिसंबर में पहली बार गुड़गांव का एनुअल सत्संग गुरुजी के निर्देशन पर शुरू हुआ. It was next to impossible for an ailing pneumonia patient on support medicines to fly away from the hospital like a free bird. But since I wanted to have Guruji's darshan and his healing blessings, I, like a stubborn child, begged my doctors to grant me permission to step out of the hospital for a couple of hours for the function. I promised to return after having the divine darshan of Sri Guruji Maharaj. To my utter surprise, on that day, I had the privilege of garlanding Guruji on behalf of the entire Sangat. On top of it, I was immersed in his love. When Guruji gave me coconut water to drink from his own glass, I could not control myself and tears rolled down unabatedly. I touched the glass on my forehead as the ultimate prasad and gulped down the entire coconut water that Guruji was consuming. I thereby quenched the eternal thirst of my parched soul. Honestly speaking, my taste buds had never ever savored anything sweeter than the coconut water before. For me, it was a nectar of heavenly blessings. I could only pay my humble tribute to Guruji through offering him the garland of my overwhelmed emotions. Needless to say, I recovered much faster than expected and got back to work as fit as a fiddle. All these magical episodes have convinced me that Guruji is the ultimate truth. He expects nothing from his disciples except unconditional surrender. Complete surrender means complete healing, and partial surrender means partial healing. Very important line. So yes, गुड़गांव एनुअल सत्संग के वीडियोस आज हर जगह सर्कुलेट हो रहे हैं. एक ही संगत मेंबर ने गार्लैंड गुरुजी को पहनाया था. That was my father. He escorted him outside, like right out of his car, and Guruji gave him such immense blessings that day through his Jhuta Prasad. This soul right here has also had the opportunity of having his divine nectar, and I have no words to describe कि क्या उस प्रसाद का क्या taste था संगत जी, and filled with such immense blessings. So Shukrana Guruji. I will read on. Guruji has also blessed my daughters Pooja and Aarti. He had even advised a suitable match for my elder daughter Pooja, now happily married. He told my wife to visit US, though it was a distant dream for us at that time. We told Guruji that Aarti was in Ghana. Ghana is in Africa, but he insisted that we take the trip to US. Sure enough, a couple of days later, Aarti gave us this wonderful news that she was in the family way and was thinking of going to New York, as her husband had got a new job there. Without hesitation, I told him, I told them, without hesitation, I told them to pack their bags and that my wife would also join them at the time of delivery in New York. True to Guruji's words, we not only traveled to the US on 3 occasions, but also had a whale of time there. Incidentally, on my first US visit, my wife was rushed to a New York hospital due to diabetes. I again went to Guruji to seek Guruji's blessings for my wife, suffering miserably in the hospital. Guruji simply smiled and said there was no cause for worry. My wife would return home in a couple of days. 2 days later, thanks to his blessings, she came back home. So, yes, I had my first child, Anya. She was born in New York. When during my delivery, my ex-in-laws were here. And then a couple months later, my parents came, and my father had just come to drop my mother. And my mother, who's a sugar patient, unki tabiyat kharab ho gayi. So imagine with a new baby, now you're dealing with somebody who's also in the hospital. So my father was very worried that, Sheila has gone there to help, and instead he felt like she's become a burden because, I was still recovering from a cesarean. I had a little infant at home. And he got worried and he spoke to Guruji कि Sheil hospital में है, and Guruji just smiled and he said जल्दी घर आ जाएगी. Yeah, in fact he'd given a very precise time कि परसों या कल she'll come home, and sure enough mom was home. Reading on, blessings at his lotus feet. The holy blessings of Guruji can make the blind see, the lame dance, the barren bear children, and the mentally and physically challenged spring back to life with smiles. He has cured his followers of stubborn AIDS and heart and cancer diseases. Those who are kept alive by the state of the art ventilator systems in the hospitals get a new lease of life. No power other than the true incarnation of Lord Shiva in this Kali Yuga can give to his disciples holy prasad in the form of simple yet blessed tea langar. His disciples partake their prasad religiously as sacred medicine to cure all diseases and insist on the concept of healing through sangat, which is the devotional congregations where satsangs take place. Yes, this is true. We are all witnesses to that in front of you कि कैसे गुरुजी मिठाई खिलाकर किसी की शुगर ठीक करते हैं, कैसे कई बार गुरुजी सचखंड का प्रसाद क्रिएट करते हैं और वो देते हैं अपनी संगत को. तो गुरुजी के क्योर करने के तरीके, गुरुजी के कल्याण बख्शने के तरीके संगत जी बहुत यूनिक हैं. हम कभी पूरी तरह से ना समझ पाए थे, ना समझ पाएंगे. For a soldier like me, my Brahm Shastra, to help the ailing and disabled, the needy, the deprived, and the deserving, but handicapped, the talented, but traumatized, is to simply show them the gateway to the majestic spiritual darbar of Guruji. Yes, Sangatji, this is a duty, a responsibility that lies with each one of us to show everybody the divine darbar of Guru Sahib. एक बार गुरुजी का दर का रास्ता दिखाना हमारा फर्ज बनता है। उसके बाद वो जुड़ते हैं, नहीं जुड़ते, कितना जुड़ते हैं, कैसे जुड़ते हैं, not our problem. An unfathomable ocean of spiritual peace, serenity, chaste happiness, and enlightenment flows like a gentle river of blessings from the lotus feet of Sri Guruji Maharaj himself in the form of positive healing, vibrations, and divine blessings. It is our good karma and unseen fate that makes us relish this magnificent ocean of blessings from Guruji. Yes, this is true, Sangaji, that I do feel like fish without water, and my Guru is my water. एंड जैसे कहते हैं ना, हम गुरु जी के बगैर हमारी आत्मा, हमारी सोल तड़प तड़प के खत्म हो जाएगी. दैट इज द काइंड ऑफ लव दैट यू वांट टू हैव फॉर योर गुरु. Either you can immerse yourself in this blissful ocean of love, or you can swim across to the ultimate destination of moksha by the blessings of Guruji alone, based upon your karma of your past and present births. All one needs to do is to wholeheartedly surrender and take a holy dip in this vast ocean to see the magic of Guruji's blessings, one birth after another. Today, my whole world revolves entirely around Guruji, who is not only God, but the last word when it comes to revealing the unknown realms of my spiritual odyssey en route to salvation or moksha. For a mortal soul like me, the invigorating fragrance and benign presence of my Sri Guruji Maharaj are a blessing in themselves. His Holiness Sri Guruji Maharaj is omnipotent, omniscient, and omnipresent. He knows in detail the previous, present, and future births of all his followers. He helps each of his followers in attaining spiritual elevation and divine bliss, quite akin to God Himself. Believe me, miracles do happen, but only to those who believe in them. One needs to keep the windmill of good karma consistently churning out positive vibrations and have an unshakable faith in His holiness. And above all, like me, one must be a true soldier and a fighter in pursuit of spiritual salvation and excellence, even under testing climates in alien and forbidden terrains. My soulful salutations to His Holiness Sri Guruji Maharaj in utter humility and surrender to his lotus feet. Satsang of Lieutenant General, retired C.K. Kapur, Param Vashish Seva Medal, Ati Vashish Seva Medal. Shukrana Maharaj, Jai Guruji. I hope I was able to do justice to my dad's offering to Guru Sahib. कोई गलती हो गई हो संगत जी और गुरु जी, आप दोनों से मैं क्षमा प्रार्थी हूँ. ओम नमः शिवाय, शिव जी सदा सहाय. ओम नमः शिवाय, गुरु जी सदा सहाय. जय गुरु जी.
जय गुरुजी महाराज. मैं एक बार दोबारा बोलूंगा आरती आंटी, जय गुरुजी महाराज. You know very well why you smiled, why I smiled, and why Guru Parivar smiled. ये आपके पापा जी used to say again and again, जय गुरुजी महाराज. This was his. मैं जितनी बार भी कपूर अंकल का सत्संग किसी से सुनता हूँ या आपसे सुनता हूँ या फैमिली से सुनता हूँ, तो मेरे को जय गुरुजी महाराज वर्ड ही शुरू से उन्होंने बताया है ना. और
Can
दैट
I
वे,
repeat what you used to say? हर
प्लीज
सत्संग की
प्लीज.
शुरुआत पे he would say, Guru Maharaj ki jai ho.
Yes, Guru Maharaj ki jai ho. We all are very blessed to hear Jan Kapoor's satsang from you. And you know very well, this satsang was awaited one for the last 2 months. You know very well, Anna, due to your hectic schedules. Thanks God, thanks Guruji Maharaj. Today we were able to listen. Very blissfully you
It's a
have read.
beautiful start to my Friday morning. It's 8:18 here, and
Yeah,
it's I couldn't
you
have
still have
asked for a better
you
start.
still have 2 minutes. Thanks, thanks a lot. संगत जी,
जय गुरु जी, शुक्राना
गुरु
गुरु
बाबा
जी।
की तरफ से आपको बहुत बहुत आशीर्वाद। अब हम सब गुरु महाराज जी से आज्ञा लेंगे।